Hello there, lovely people. It's Alex from Nintendo Life here. And yeah, a Direct just only went and happened last night, didn't it? I saw the whole thing from start to finish, and I'm going to give you just generally my sort of rambly thoughts about it through a haze of virus that I'm currently suffering with, so if I'm a little bit disjointed, please forgive me. We're going to be looking at all the major announcements and some of the smaller ones, basically whatever's in the PR and in that order as well, with one exception, because there's one thing that's actually a second on the list that I want to save until the end, because it's delicious. But anyway, that's more than enough waffling. Let's dive right into things. Super Mario Maker 2, my lordy-loo. I was really hoping we'd get a sequel to Super Mario Maker, but I was fully expecting just a port, or like a deluxe port of the original from the Wii U, just thrown over because that would be a lot easier. But no, we're getting a full, proper sequel. And at the start, you know, when they were showing off slopes, I was a little bit skeptical and thinking that maybe it was just a deluxe version, or that if it was a sequel, and then when they revealed that it was a sequel, I thought, oh, is there going to really be enough new stuff? But no, there totally is. They've completely, it looks like they've overhauled the entire user interface, and no bad thing, because the old one really was much more designed for the Wii U gamepad, which was fine for the time, but the Switch, you really need to be able to make it work in the dock as well, which is how I would mostly be using it. So that's a good for me. But they brought in loads of new stuff as well. We're not going to go over everything in here, just because I can't remember everything off the top of my head. But they've got loads of stuff in there. They've got like the ant enemies, they've got the new Super Mario 3D World style with the catsuit Mario and everything like that. And they've got slopes. It's really silly that everybody lost their minds so much over that, but Nintendo were well aware of it. That's why they started and they opened the whole thing with, look mate, we've got slopes now, and I think that shows a lot more self-awareness than I think a lot of people give Nintendo credit for, so fair play to them for that. And hey, we've finally got slopes. And a load of other stuff besides. Like, you can now change, you know, the direction that the auto-scrolling's going. I think some people were saying that you could do vertical, or at least you can do, yeah, you can definitely do slightly vertical, because they did that in the trailer. It looks like Luigi's a part of it now, and I wouldn't be surprised if there were new playable characters besides Luigi as well, because Luigi is kind of, you know, a Mario skin at times. And yeah, it would be a great way to introduce new characters and have a real sort of difference in there, rather than just, oh, you're just Mario running around, you know. It would give it a real distinction, because you couldn't play as anyone else in the original, unless you used one of those costumes, which people did, but then you were stuck to the old-fashioned 8-bit one, so they didn't have to make a model for everything and a sprite for... Astral Chain. This, when I first saw this, I was looking at it and thinking, oh God, what franchise is this? I don't recognize it. And I was live blogging at the time, so there were people there sort of presumably expecting me to say something, and I was just like, I don't know what this is. And I was really worried that it was an existing franchise that for some reason I didn't recognize, or it was a port or something like that. But looking through the chat, everyone was like, Shin Megami Tensei? And it turned out that it's a brand new bloomin' thing, and I'm so pleased because it looks genuinely interesting, and Platinum very, very rarely disappoint when it comes to new IPs and things like that. I mean, they gave us Bayonetta for goodness sake, and this does look like it's going to have a similar sort of high-octane feel, if it's maybe not the same kind of game. It looks like there's going to be two characters, there's a really strong sort of almost cyberpunk style that seems to be really in fashion at the moment. It's difficult to know much about the game because we just don't know much about the game, so it's difficult to talk about it, but it looks really promising and really exciting, and it looks like it's going to run like an absolute dream, unlike some other titles in the Direct, which we'll get onto in a minute. Fire Emblem Three Houses. I was fully expecting loads more Fire Emblem, like a good majority of Fire Emblem, rather than just the sort of the bit that we got. And I was kind of pleased about that because, you know, I love Fire Emblem, but I don't want it to all be Fire Emblem all the time. But it was really interesting to get a properly good look at how Three Houses is going to work, and it's basically Harry Potter -1. I'm not entirely sure how the school system and the house system is actually going to work in practicality, but it looks like it's a really interesting take on Fire Emblem, because usually it's just, you know, sort of one kingdom's annoyed with another kingdom and blah, 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 blah. But now it looks like that actually there are these three kingdoms that seem to be in sort of friendly competition, but they all seem to be inside one school. Maybe it's all going to fall apart, I don't know. But one of them is called Leicester, and that's hilarious. The combat as well looks really slick. Like you're on the battlefield and then it just zooms in and your character goes in and goes, rah! And then the battle happens and, you know, things continue. And I'm really looking forward to this because I love strategy games and things like that, and I had great fun with all the Fire Emblem games that I've played, and I played Wargroove recently and I love Wargroove as well, but there's something different about those games. I think maybe it's because the units are expendable, but at the same time they're not, because if you want an S rank, you can't lose any units and all that sort of thing. With Fire Emblem, it really does matter, and every unit is a little bit more beefy, a little bit more reliable, and things like that. I think I just prefer Fire Emblem. In fact, a Nintendo employee told me recently that, and I don't think these were his own words either, I think he was quoting someone else, and was fully apparent about it, that Wargroove and Advance Wars are more like puzzle games than strategy games, because really you want that S rank every time. I'm going off topic. Fire Emblem, Three Houses, it looks so good. Box Boy and Box Girl. This was, well, I say a surprise. You know, we had a leak saying that, oh, there's going to be a Box Boy. Wasn't it Box Boy Ports, though, that it said, or did they just say Box Boy? I lose track. I never played a Box Boy game. I just never got around to it. There were so many other things I had to play, and, you know, yeah, I'm well up for it. I love me a puzzle platformer, and, well, I say puzzle platformer, it's more just like a straight platform game, puzzle game. And this one's co-op as well, because you got Box Boy, you got Box Girl, and then you got, like, Quibby, I've forgotten the name of the character, but the tall one. It's an oblong. Looks like a really solid, small, little, bite-sized kind of Switch, lovely dip-in, dip-out kind of game. Just like every previous Box Boy, only this time it's in HD, and you can do it on a TV. Tetris 99. This one confused me. I was in a little bit of a haze as it was, because it was 10 o'clock at night, and I still wasn't feeling very well last night, if you can believe it, and so I was desperately trying to concentrate as much as possible on everything that was going on, and then Tetris appeared, and I was like, ah, cool, Tetris, and then they said it's a Battle Royale Tetris game, and I was like, what? I watched the trailer again and I still don't fully understand how it works. I don't know if it's just my brain can't absorb that kind of information at the moment, or if it's all filled with the last game I'm going to mention. I mean, I'm open to the concept. It's free as well, you know, it's free for Nintendo Switch Online subscribers, so, you know, it's difficult to be annoyed at it. Yeah, I think it looks entertaining and fun, and it'll be interesting if Nintendo continues to, you know, sort of do or commission these types of free games for Nintendo Switch Online exclusively that have this sort of online functionality. That would be very interesting indeed. Haven't played it, it is currently downloading. I will potentially let you know more in future, or maybe not. Maybe on Twitter or something. Follow me. Bloodstained Ritual of the Night. This was an embarrassing one for me because I already thought this was on Switch. Clearly not, but you know, Bloodstained Ritual of the Night is coming to Switch now, and I've really, for so long, really wanted to properly play a Castlevania game. I know this technically isn't Castlevania, but you know, a Rose by any other name and all that. I like the style. I genuinely thought this was released on the Wii U or something, because it's been around for so long. It was a crowdfunded thing, wasn't it? It was like Indiegogo or Kickstarter or something. I'm guessing it's probably been out on other systems for a while. I should really do my research, but frankly, I feel like my head's going to explode, so maybe I'll do something in text down here to explain more. But it looks good. I can't really argue. It just looks like a really good Metroidvania-style game. It looks like it's fleshed out. It's got some maybe half-decent voice acting, but I think maybe that's sort of tongue-in-cheek. I don't know. I hope it is, because it is. But yeah, it's a good. I hope. It looks a good. Mortal Kombat 11. I know why this is in the PR, but they really didn't show that much, did they? It was just like, you know, Mortal Kombat 11, it's coming to Switch, guys, and it was like, We know! I'm excited for it. I'm excited to see how it properly runs on Switch when it's not, you know, in a compressed live stream. Even if that was Switch footage, we don't know. It looks like it's going to be a good time. I've always enjoyed Mortal Kombat games, even, you know, back in the DOS days of Mortal Kombat 3. I told my mum about that recently, that, you know, she was for a while adamant that, you know, all violence in video games means violence in children and other humans. And I was like, Mum, I play violent video games. She's like, oh, no, not like little violent. I mean like big violent. And I was like, I played Mortal Kombat 3 where you rip spines out of people when I was about 6. And she was like, oh. Haven't actually played the later games in the series simply because too many bloody games. Seriously, how do people find time to play all these games? I'm assuming they don't. So I'm excited for this one. I like a good fighting game. I like it on the Switch. It's never going to be Super Smash Bros, but it's not trying to be. It's slightly more violent. Yoshi's Crafted World, we got another sort of brief look at it, you know, just sort of saying, oh, look, here's Yoshi's Crafted World, and then they said, there's a demo coming as well, and it'll be available at the end of this presentation, or like later today or something. And yeah, that's available now. Again, that's downloading. Can you tell I'm doing this first thing in the morning? It's a winning combination of drudgery. They showed off some different levels and some different ideas around it, and you know, sort of like, there was almost looked like F-Zero. It looked like an F-Zero stage in Super Smash Bros. At one point where he's on a car, he's going back and forth, and it looks like fun. It looks like a Yoshi game. It looks like it's going to be entertaining and sort of relaxed and good fun and do Yoshi game. Yeah, looks like it's going to be a good one. We'll just have to wait and see, though. Haven't played the demo yet. New Captain Toad stuff. This was a real surprise because I would have thought that if they were going to do anything new with Captain Toad, they would have included it in the original re-release of Captain Toad on the Switch. But no, they're doing a free update with some new gubbins, and then they're also doing paid DLC. We don't know how much it is, do we? If we do, it doesn't say so in the PR, but it's coming out on the 14th of March. This really surprised me, and I can't help but feel that maybe this was the original intention. They were going to include all this new stuff in the original release, like I said, but maybe they couldn't get it out in time and they really needed something to fill the gap, because it really did feel like Captain Toad was filling a gap last year, which is no bad thing, and you know, no problem, you know, Captain Toad, fun, good game. Yeah, put it out on the Switch, all's a good. But then, I don't know, it just sort of, to put paid DLC feels a bit rich. I don't know, when you've got things like Splatoon 2, which have all this free content constantly coming out, and, you know, Super Smash Bros. Constantly getting all these balance updates, and Piranha Plant for free, at least for people who bought the game early. To then get Captain Toad, you know, which is generally more like a sort of a younger player's game. Obviously, older people can enjoy it as well, but, you know, the target demographic is definitely going to be younger people. To then come out with paid DLC feels a little bit... Really? It feels a bit un-Nintendo. I don't know how else to describe it. Speaking of updates, Super Smash Bros. Ultimate Update version 3.0. They're really churning through these numbers fast, aren't they? It was mainly talking about Joker and things like that. Joker will be available before the end of April when version 3.0 launches, which is bloody fast, actually. I didn't think we'd get the second DLC character this soon. But, you know, I'm more than happy to say that's sooner than I thought. And they sort of alluded to there being other stuff as well. It's like, what's going to be in version 3.0? Well, you'll have to wait and see. And it's like, well, why are you talking about it in a direct now? I don't know, maybe they're trying to hedge a bit because they don't know exactly what they're going to put in, or they can squeeze it in time. But there's like a laundry list of stuff I'd like put in for free, like video capture and video capture and video capture. Yeah, I know you can do it through like the replay system and then video conversion, and that's fine, but you know, I want to be able to just say, hey, a cool thing happened, pow! Record and then share it on social media. Hellblade, Senua's Sacrifice, Senua's Sacrifice. Hellblade, Senua's Sacrifice. I think I've seen images of this game, but I have absolutely no idea what it's about. It's got some sort of link to like psychotic episodes, psychosis and things like that, and hallucinations. If there's any psychologists watching, I do apologize. I probably just dropped a load of complete wrong terminology, for which case, hello, psychologists. How are you? It looks really interesting. It also looks absolutely gorgeous. I really love to get my hands on it. And I love really surreal experiences and especially surreal games. So yeah, this one looks like it's going to be a really interesting one. I'm assuming it's come out on previous platforms. In fact, I can pretty much guarantee it because I've seen loads of stuff about it before, and they said, the acclaimed winner of awards coming to Switch, so that sort of spells yes. Demon Ex Machina. There's a trailer. Not a demo even. There was a trailer, now there's a demo. You can download the demo for free. They didn't actually talk about the game much, they talked about the demo, and fair enough. I'm guessing they're doing something a little bit similar to what they did with Octopath Traveler. I say they, totally different people. What Square Enix did with Octopath Traveler, where they basically said, hey guys, get the demo, it's gonna be a good, and then give us some feedback, which I think is a really, really mature and sensible way to do a game these days. Because realistically, you know, gaming is so huge now, you can't possibly appeal to everyone, but if you can get some feedback and maybe try to appeal to as broad an audience as possible who are already interested in your game, that's a really sensible and mature and professional thing to do. And I think that's really, really cool. I'm really looking forward to the demo that's also downloading at the moment. Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3: The Black Order. This was like, wasn't this like the second thing they showed after Mario Maker? And it was like, okay, it looks vaguely entertaining, it looks like fun. I'm amazed they're not trying to tie it in to like the Marvel Cinematic Universe. It looks like it's much more closely related to the comics, and at least the style and stuff like that, which, fair play, you know, not knocking that at all. But I'm just amazed that they're not trying to ride off the back of things like Avengers and stuff like that. But yeah, I don't have a lot of opinion about this game because I watched it and I was like, when's it coming out? And I couldn't remember the full title. And I needed the full title before I tweeted about it. Dragon Quest XI's Echoes of an Elusive Age Definitive Edition for title of the longest title in this video. Title? Award. This was a bit of a surprise for me. Again, Dragon's Quest is one of those series that I've seen so much about, but just never been able to get into. I don't know what it is about it. It's just, I've always liked the look of it, but then the moment I try and get into it, I just can't get in, do you know what I mean? And I know that seems, you know, I really should try harder and should really get into the games, because the fact that we're on 11 now, or 11S, Echoes of an Exclusive Bread, or whatever it's called, it's gotta be good, it's gotta be great, and I know from plenty of people that it is both of those things. But I just have never been able to get into it enough to know enough about it to have a proper opinion. Obviously, it's excellent that it's coming to the Switch because Dragon Age is... Dragon Age. Have I said Dragon Age more than once? Dragon Quest is bloody enormous, especially in Japan, and so, you know, any representation on Switch is no bad thing. And then they also did Dragon Quest Builders 2, which is kind of like a... I'm just gonna say, it's kind of like a Minecraft game, but with Dragon Quest. And I very nearly said Age again then. Again, it looks interesting, not really my kind of thing. I enjoyed Minecraft for a goodly long time, but then sort of fell out of it again and never really been able to properly get back into it, or any other game that's sort of like that, you know, Portal Knights and stuff like that. All that good stuff. So yeah, it looks like it's gonna be good fun. Clearly the original did well enough to warrant a sequel, so it can't be a bad thing. But yeah, I can't really have much of a strong opinion about it. Oninaki. This is a new IP, similar to like Lost Sphere and things like that, from what I understand, or from the creators at least. And yeah, that was bizarre. It was all a blur. I have no idea much. I really don't know much about the game. I'm gonna watch the trailer again. Okay, I'm much more interested in this than I thought. So this is like an action RPG? I'm sure the trailer I just saw was not the trailer I saw last night. Maybe I watched a different version or something, or maybe I drifted off briefly. It looks really bloody good. It looks fantastic. It's style-wise, it looks quite similar to like Bravely Default and stuff like that, and Bravely Second, but with a much more sort of polished outlook because it's not on the 3DS. And it's not a turn-based or JRPG, it's an action RPG, or, you know, sort of like maybe a dungeon crawler style thing. Again, you know, you could just argue it's a hack and slash or something. Genres, man! Genres. It looks really interesting. I love those sort of style, you know, Diablo style games and stuff like that. And this just looks really interesting. I don't really know what's going on plot-wise because it's all a bit thick and difficult to penetrate. But yeah, I like that. New Starlink stuff. Starlink Battle for Atlas, new Starfox stuff in Starlink. this was a massive, massive surprise because Starlink absolutely bombed, didn't it? The success was just nothing. I think it was probably, you know, they shot themselves in the foot with the Toys to Life stuff. But there's new Starfox stuff coming. It looks genuinely interesting. I really liked Starlink, but again, it was a massive, massive not good. Disney, some festival. These are little horrible little things that kind of remind me of Funko Pops, and the fact that they take away the entire personality of whatever character they're trying to represent and tries to simplify them down to a point where they are, well, they're at least recognizable, but at the same time, I don't like them. So I have absolutely no interest in this whatsoever. Rune Factory 4 Special and Rune Factory 5. Again, know absolutely nothing about the series. Heard it time and time again. Heard loads of people go on and on about it saying it's amazing, it's brilliant. But again, it's just one of those series that doesn't appeal to me, so I can't have an opinion. I have an opinion about Tsum Tsum. I couldn't give a monkeys about it, and I wish it didn't exist. But this, I'm just like 100% neutral. Deltarune, the sequel, not sequel, to Undertale. I have no idea what this is about. I specifically tried to keep myself in the dark as much as possible because I had Undertale completely spoiled for me, and I still want to go back and play Undertale properly. But yeah, so I haven't actually looked into Deltarune at all because I want it to be a surprise, but I know that Undertale is a good, so I'm assuming Deltarune is also a good. I'm also pretty sure it's an acronym, not an acronym, a thingy, anagram. It is. Dead by Daylight. This was a weird one. Dead by Daylight? I'm sure this is like one of these games that went semi-viral about 4 or 5 years ago, and now it's coming to Switch, and it doesn't look like it runs terribly well. It looks like an interesting concept, but I don't know. I'm not overly excited about it. It looks like it might be fun. I've just got a horrible feeling it'll be overpriced. Could be wrong. If it's a cheapo bargaino, then great, but I don't assume it is. Oh, lordy, Assassin's Creed 3. I never played Assassin's Creed 3, so I really don't have any opinion that I can actually hold personally about the game itself and the gameplay. I've heard things and, you know, sort of based an opinion off that, but realistically it's not my opinion, it's what I've interpreted. I played Assassin's Creed 4, loved it, played Assassin's Creed 2, this isn't in the right order, loved it, played Assassin's Creed Brotherhood, in fact got it for my birthday. I experienced a short portion of that before realizing it was a hot mess. But yeah, Assassin's Creed 3, I just never played. And I heard that it was a bit sort of pants from some people. Some people say it's great, some people say it's pants, so I really don't know. I'm erring more on the pants side, especially after seeing how it's running. I find it very, very unsettling when the official upload from Ubisoft is not only in 720p showing off the trailer, but also it's been compressed to hell, I'm assuming to try and hide the fact that the game isn't running very well, and the game textures and the animations look fine, but the textures and the model quality looks pretty appalling. Absolutely could just be early development stuff, and it could be that when it's actually released it'll look much better, but it's really not encouraging when this is our first experience of it, and I've got a horrible feeling it's been botched. Unravel 2! Unravel was supposed to be a great game. Unravel 2 is supposed to be a great game as well. It's made by EA. It's a stringy thing. It looks like fun. Grid Autosport. It's the racing simulator with many things. It looks like a good comprehensive racing simulator, but I really tried to get into things like Forza and things like that. But I've just never been able to properly get into them. I always prefer things like Mario Kart, where it's a little bit more slapdash, you know, sort of wahoo, less precise, but there's a huge market for that kind of thing. And so yeah, you know, the Switch could absolutely do with a really good racing sim, and this looks like a good one. So it gets a thumbs up from me. And lastly, oh my lordy, massage my weary legs, The Legend of Zelda Link's Awakening on Switch. They're not even calling it like remastered or Link's Awakening New or anything like that, or New The Legend of Zelda The Link's Awakening Part 1.5. When they started revealing it and they had like the waves and stuff like that, Sasha, my other half, said, oh, another anime-styled game. She's not big on the anime style. And I said, well, you know, you don't know. The game could be really good. There's plenty of anime-style games that are really good that she even loves. It was just late. and she's also ill, so she had a bit close to just wanting to go to bed. And then we saw the shot of the mask looking up, and there was Link to the side of it, and I was like, oh my god, baby, that's Link. And she was like, is it? I can't tell you how much I love Link's Awakening, but I'm gonna try. I love Link's Awakening a lot. Link's Awakening was the first Zelda game that I ever played back on the Game Boy, back in the day. I still remember buying it in Woolworths. I remember seeing it and just, you know, sort of thinking, that looks cool. And my brother telling me, it's really good. All the magazines say it's really good, so we bought it. Like, together. Like, that was back when we couldn't afford to buy games individually. We had to club together our pocket money to buy games. And this cost us like 20 quid. And what a 20 quid, my god. When I first saw the art style, I did sort of have to do a bit of a double take. It was a bit whiplashy. I was like, whoa, you know, that's a strong art style. But to be honest, as I've seen it more and more, I would never say I disliked it, but I've warmed to it even more than I did before, because it really is playing off how the original looked in the original art style, but without being too literal with it. It's sort of stylizing it and sort of taking the original sprites and how they looked and making them much more up to date, but without going just like super detail and stuff like that. It looks absolutely gorgeous. Like, absolutely gorgeous. I love the bokeh that they've got with the narrow depth of field and things like that. It looks very artificial, but I don't care, you know. You don't want it to be too obvious or too, you know, imposing or anything like that. And just the whole thing, the level of detail, it looks like they've just remade the whole thing exactly how it was, but obviously updated it to make it look like it was made today, which it wasn't. What we saw looked very much like it's Link's Awakening, but again, I mean, you know, sort of you can move around in 360 degrees now. That I would say is the biggest change, apart from obviously the art style. All the weird stuff, like the fact that there are Mario like enemies in the game, like Chomp Chomp is a Chain Chomp. Is it Chomp Chomp? You've even got Goombas, and they're like proper Mario style Goombas in the side-scrolling bits. It's so weird. I love it. I love that they just sort of went back and they looked and they saw, hey, we've got like Goombas and stuff. Why they put it in there, I don't know. But they're like, what are we going to do with this? Are we going to change them so they look different? They're like, nah, mate, they're obviously Goombas. Make them look as much like Goombas as possible. And that deserves applause. I would imagine that it's going to be like the DX version, where there were some slight subtle changes here and there, and most importantly the color dungeons, which I have never ever played because I just never owned the DX version, and that thing's expensive. And I'm hoping we'll get something specific to this version as well, some slight little changes here and there. I kind of want to see the Resident Evil 2 remake, remaster, HD, whatever it was called, of Link's Awakening. Maybe not going so far as to do it like that, but that sort of feel, you know, sort of where it's very true to the original, but at the same time, it's been updated and remastered and rejigged, and it makes it absolutely wonderful, and it's like the ultimate way to play the game, but at the same time, you can go back and play the original for a slightly more traditional experience. Oh! There were rumors going around for bloody ages there was a Link's Awakening remaster, and I was thinking, never, forget about it. Although, actually, no, they were saying it was coming to 3DS, didn't they? Huh. I am just so happy that this is happening. And I know in a recent video when I was talking about like rumors and stuff about the Direct, well, one rumor with a couple of bits attached to it, when it came up, one of the things was a new 2D Zelda, and I was like, why would they go back? Why, you know, they made Breath of the Wild, where would they go backwards? And I'm more than willing to put my hands up and say I was 100% wrong about that, and I'm 100% over the moon that I was wrong, because this looks absolutely gorgeous and fantastic. So yeah, I'm a happy boy. I'm a very happy boy. And that is pretty much everything that was covered. I was a little bit disappointed we didn't get a release date for Crystal Chronicles, the Final Fantasy version. But you know, overall, I'd say that was a really good Direct, like really solid. I don't think there was a duff moment in it, to be honest. I mean, apart from, you know, Marvel Ultimate Alliance breadwinner type Mark III, the Black Plague. But that's just me personally, you know, everything can't appeal to me. That's just not how it works. And for people who like that, it's a good. So, you know, you can't complain. If you do, don't. Thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, then why don't you rattle on for 42 minutes and 52 seconds about that subscribe button, and be sure to check out NintendoLife.com for all sorts of lovely Nintendo-related content. Thank you again for watching. Bye-bye.
Oh, my head.
Dragon Quest XI's Echoes of an Inclusive... Dragon Quest XI's Echoes of an...